so much material to cover today. We have so many speakers that want to talk to you. So we're going to go ahead and start. So I want to welcome you. It's so nice to see the familiar faces, and I'm so excited about seeing the new faces. And I just love that you're going to meet the team and what we do and how we do it. How we decided to do the seller seminar. So last year I have been talking to a client that lived in a property for 47 years. She never sold the property before, so there was a lot of questions. We sat, we talked, and in the end, she was relieved. And she's like, I didn't know there's so much we have to do and we have to remember. But she says, you were able to take that stress away. I was so stressed out. So I felt, especially after COVID, I think there's a lot of things changed. Change the way we do business, that change the way we market the properties, and how we communicate, how we do everyday life. It really changed. So so we want to go over those changes and kind of let you know how everything works when it comes to market the properties right now. So that said, a lot of people are asking me always, what is a good time to sell? When should I sell my property? Actually, COVID changed everything. Before that, we had buying seasons, we had selling seasons, and they were pretty consistent. But after that, it's kind of everything got messed up. So, especially last year, it was totally different. It's every time the bad news came out on the TV, on the news, every time the interest rate went up, people kind of froze for 2 weeks. I call it a marinating. They marinated and they like, okay, well, we're going to go and buy now. So it was really roller coaster, up and down, but it was still a good year. So what is the market doing right now? Inventory is very low, very low. The interest rate came down a little bit, and I'm not going to talk as much about how interest rate affect the market because I have somebody more knowledgeable than me to talk about it right after me. So I want to talk a little bit what the buyers are looking for right now. They're looking for the properties that are move-in condition. They don't want to do any work. Moving condition, it's not necessarily has great upgrades. It's basically perception is everything. So we need to make the properties as neutral as possible. So it really appears to every kind of buyers. The pictures are everything. So those properties have to look perfect on the pictures because that's where the buyers are really starting their search. And I lost my thought. How about that? So I lost my thought. Anyway, another thing I want to talk about, mention at least, it's about Zestimates. Everybody likes to go and look online, right? What their home is worth. Don't be fooled by it because they're not always accurate. Right now, I have one property, for example, that on Zillow, it shows the estimate is higher than it's listed at. But on Redfin, it shows that the estimate of that property is $100,000 lower. So who do you trust? So just be really careful when you're making those decisions and setting your mind. Every time you really want to know what your property is worth, just give us a call. I mean, I'm here every day. Be happy to stop by and let you know what your property is really worth. Zillow doesn't know location of the property. Zillow doesn't know what schools your property belongs to. Zillow doesn't know the amenities and upgrades that you have. So be really careful with this estimate. And so now, I think I'm going to introduce the next speaker. speaker. We're going to take you on a journey today. I really want to take you from the point where you have thoughts about it, about selling, to the end of your roadmap. So basically, from the start that you're thinking about it to the end where you want to end up. So my next speaker is going to be Keith Murphy, and he's a lender. He's going to be talking a little bit how the interest rate affects the market and what his predictions are going to be. And there you go. Keith Murphy from Essex Mortgage.
Thank you. How's everybody doing tonight?
Right.
When Kathy said come and talk about interest rates, I'm like,
Oh, can I just
Yes.
say something?
you're the boss.
After we're gonna have questions in the end of all the speakers. There's a new pamphlet. There's a little book that you can write your questions. So it's because sometimes you can forget. So you can write the questions that you want to ask. In the end, we're gonna open the session for all the questions. Okay. Okay. There you go.
Take two.
Take two.
But all truth be told, when she invited me to come, I couldn't wait to get here because interest rates, the economy, all of it is my favorite subject to talk about. So, write down your questions. We'll definitely go one-on-one at the end and of this presentation, but I'm going to give you like an overview of what's going on with the interest rate market right now. So, number one is the market and how interest rates affect the market depends upon what cycle we're in. So some people say, okay, well, interest rates go up, prices of homes are coming down. A lot of the buyers that get referred to me, that's what they say. Like, I want to buy a home, I'm looking to buy a home, but prices are going to come down because these interest rates went up. So I'll just wait for that. In some cycles, that's the case. Rates go up, prices come down. So that's the main point I'm making at first is whatever the interest rates are doing, it's different each cycle that we're in. And then on top of that, the market area that we're in. So you could have a very much different impact of higher rates in Austin, Texas, or parts of Scottsdale, Arizona, where the Airbnb market exploded. That area can be impacted differently than where we're at right here, which is what we're going to focus on tonight. So bottom line is, as far as economics are concerned, generally, yes, when interest rates go up, the cost of home ownership goes up. And then there's a smaller pool of people that can qualify for prices of homes because the cost went up. Conversely, when rates go down, which they are doing right now, it opens up that pool. The affordability index opens up and more people can qualify than could previously. So what's happening right now is we're, I believe, at the end of the bell curve. So we went from the 2s and 3s after the pandemic when the Fed was basically controlling the market and getting rates low to keep our economy humming and keep people smiling. And then once the COVID was over, they stopped messing around. They played puppeteer for a little while in the markets, and they let the rate market run on its own course while they started jacking up the Fed's funds rate. I think, I hope, I believe that we're getting to the end of that cycle right about now. And I believe that 2024 is going to be the pivot point where we see the mortgage rates go from what they were in 2020, 2021. 2%, 2.5%, 3%. Now, in 2023, we got up into the 5s in early 2023, then the 6s, then the 7s as recently as October of this year. We were in the 8s, and now we're back down into the mid to low 6s. And just in the last 48 hours, you guys, mortgage rates are coming down significantly. So that's the current state. I'm going to actually address a little bit more what I think this market's going to do with these low rates in just a second. But I wanted to ask you guys a question. If anybody feels bold enough to answer, please do. If you were going to say one thing that drives a mortgage rate up or down on any given day, what would you say that number one factor would be? Shout it out if you got a thought. Federal Reserve? Chairman Powell? Yeah. I ask every single client I sit with this question, and I would say 95 to 98% of the time that is the answer. It's Chairman Powell. So if Chairman Powell's on the witness stand, which he was yesterday, and he says we're going to hold firm, inflation hasn't cooled off enough for us to feel confident in lowering our policy or lowering rates. We're going to have to keep it higher for longer to ensure that inflation is intact. Most people would think, oh, shoot, well, then rates wouldn't go down because the Fed's going to hold firm. But that's not the case. What drives mortgage rates, the answer to the question, what drives mortgage rates up and down every single day, and they do change every single day, is the buying and the selling of mortgage-backed securities. It's like a stock. Apple stock goes up when they think they're going to sell more phones and make more money, and people want to get on that bandwagon and they buy the stock, and because they buy the stock, it pushes up the price. And if they think they're not going to sell a lot of iPhones and the stock revenue is going to fall, then the stock's going to move in kind and people are going to sell before that move. Mortgages are no different. The mortgage-backed security market is based on how much supply comes in and what's the demand for that paper. Now, the Fed has an indirect impact on mortgage rates because when they raise the Fed funds rate, the cost of money for banks to borrow goes up. So it immediately impacts your car note, your credit card, your home equity line of credit. When they raise your rate, that next day goes up. But it doesn't have a direct impact on mortgage. The indirect impact is, and it's kind of probably a conversation for another night, but bottom line is when rates go higher, it devalues the mortgages, so there's less appetite for them. So it has an indirect impact, but not a direct impact. What happened in the last 48 hours is the market got overly anticipatory of what rates were going to do, and they kind of got ahead of the curve. And when the Fed kind of pulled back the throttle and said, we're not doing anything right now, money flew to safety. The safety of bonds like treasuries and mortgage-backed securities are safe havens with fixed income. And that's what we're seeing. Big investors, mutual funds, hedge funds, ETFs, they're plowing money into safety right now because of Powell just pulled the rug out from underneath everybody. We thought he was going to cut, and he said, now we're not. Even though in December he said we're cutting, he changed his mind in January. It's pretty crazy. And then the last thing, and then I'm going to pass the baton here. And I'm going to read this right off the Fannie Mae website, and I've got the URL in this printout that you all have. But I didn't memorize this part, and these people are smarter than me, so I'm just going to read what they said. Doug Duncan is the Fannie Mae chief economist, and he put this out on the 12th of 2024, so just a few days ago, or a couple weeks ago, said, mortgage rates have fallen since their peak in October, see chart below, and we expect growth in mortgage originations, that's good for me, including some improvement in refinance. We forecast in 2024 single-family mortgage originations to be $1.98 trillion this year, $2.44 trillion next year, 2025, and that's up from what was one of the toughest years of my career of 28 years. We did 1.5 trillion. So when you go from 1.5 trillion in 2023 to 2.24, what I think, is as these rates do come down, those buyers that have been waiting for the prices to fall and they didn't, and see the cost of home ownership is declining, they're going to come into the market. So their forecast, which is now, Kathy's still here. This is my forecast, Kathy. We're going to see a stabilization of the market, and it's kind of in this bottom right corner here. We're going to see existing home inventory unfreeze, and that's all you guys. Like some people that call me want to list and sell for varied reasons, life reasons, just because they want to reasons, but they have a hard time giving up their current mortgage rate when they see what they're going to get if they were to sell. Their belief is as these rates come down, the existing home inventory market's going to thaw. There's going to be more inventory, more activity, which speaks to the origination piece. Single family construction is going to remain strong. It's been robust. It's going to remain that way. Price growth, keyword, price growth is going to moderate. It doesn't say prices are going to flatline or go down. Grab a seat, guys. They're expecting, again, with more buyers coming off the fence, more inventory coming, and lower rates, that price growth will moderate, meaning it won't go up as fast as it has for the last 3 years. And then lastly, they took this off the table, which I think is a huge thing. They were predicting a recession in 2024. and they've lined through that and taken that off the table. I'm not sure if I agree or disagree, but they put it in print for the capital markets to read that they took the recession marker off the table, which I just think gives buyers and sellers a little bit more confidence moving forward. I know we're going to do Q&A at the end, but right now I'm going to turn it over to Norma, who's with Simply Fresh Interiors, and she's going to talk about, interior design, I believe.
Hello.
Accidente there?
Thank you. Yes, so my name is Norma. I'm a professional organizer. And quick question, if I can have you raise your hand. How many of you know what professional organizers do or have heard of professional organizers? Yeah, sorry. It's okay. So what it is that we are not, we've been here for a long time. But for those who maybe we give credit for us being known is what you've seen on television, the Home Edit, Marie Kondo as organizers. But I've been organizing since it was cool. This was for before. I've been in the year now going to 21 years. So I'm pretty good at my job. Another area that gives me credibility in what I do is that I personally moved 18 times in my life. And part of that was when I was younger, and the rest of the house is life, profession, circumstances that made us have to sell our home and move and buy another one and so forth. So 18 times I've done this, and I learned what to do and what not to do. Another thing is, too, this is an actual profession. There's training, there's education, there's certification behind it, and I've done all of it. Recently, in the last 3 years, there's been a lot more education about narrowing down certain niches in customizing our services. So I attend conferences and I stay updated with current events and how to help people. Not that we have the baby boomers transitioning and then we have millennials thinking a little bit different. I have to accommodate to both of those. And I'm happy to say I'm pretty good at that. Now, what makes me good at my job too? I'm just wired differently. I see a mess and I get excited. I want to get in there and tackle the chaos and instant gratification because I'm using my hands and I'm making it functional and aesthetically beautiful. So when I was a little girl, I played with Barbies, but I didn't play with Barbies. I set up the house and organized the way we were going to play. And that was my play. Once it was set up, I was done. That was my play, my friend's play. So anyways, that's a little bit of how I'm wired a little bit different. The presentation's over here. I apologize for that. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to not the fun stuff. And not the fun stuff is the reality of moving. The reality of moving. And like I said, I've done this 18 times. And first and foremost, according to the BBC, New York Post, Harvard, so many different people, so many different educational sources cite that moving, especially if you haven't moved in over 30 years, or even in the last 5 years, it is coupled with the same stress level as divorce, loss of a job, and even death of a family member. It is an emotional, very emotional process for some people. For those of you or know someone who's moving and have moved before and know, I know how to do it, I can get my friends, great, good for you. But was that before children and full-time work? Because if you have children and full-time work, a lot of people try to do it. I get it. It's expensive. When you're selling a home, everything's expensive, right? But so many people, I'm not kidding you, will call me and say, Norma, I try to be a hero and move myself. Can you come tomorrow and help me? Because I'm going to pull my hair out. And if I'm available, I'm there. But it is real. It is a real process that's hard. And how is it that I can do it and not be so difficult? Because I don't have attachment to your belongings. That is the key to it. I don't have attachment to your belongings. If I move myself, it is stressful for me because I have attachment to my belongings. And when we can go really deep into that conversation of attachment, but it can be as simple as, I don't want to get rid of the sofa. It was a gift from my brother. there's guilt, right? So that guilt is attachment, and it's hard to go. Oh, this is my baby blanket. Okay, let's keep your favorite baby blanket, but do we need all 15 of them? So I'm here to guide you and help you with making those tough decisions. And we never push you to get rid of anything. We encourage you to keep what you love and what you need, versus just getting used to the fact that you have that whole bookshelf full of CDs that's just there because you're used to looking at it, but not because it provides any more function, right? So that's the reality of it. Now, other challenges, you can do it yourself, and if you do it yourself, give yourself 10 weeks from the day of deciding you're going to move, and you're going to go through escrow, pack up your stuff, unpack, all that. It's a 10-week process. And it's a 10-week process that you have in your mind thinking about, okay, I have to pack. I have to change all my services. I have to transfer the kids' education and re-register them in a different school. That is for 10 weeks, in addition to your regular commitments on a daily life. That's what takes the stress to a whole nother level. Those 10 weeks, we've done them in 3 days on a small home. On an average 4-bedroom home, we've moved everybody from consultation of meeting a new home to transporting to the next town, if you're moving to the next town, in 7 days. And I'm talking Pinterest-ready home. I'm not just unpacking and putting things in your closet. I mean, folded and executed in a very beautiful way. So that is why. And then if you have questions about the steps on doing it yourself, I do have printouts for you that I can hand you. And you'll look at it and be like, oh man. But that's the reality. And that's what I'm here to show you about. Can you go to the next? Now, quickly, our services. We are professional organized. Hold on, I'm trying to match it up with that. I talk briefly. We are professional organizers. Yes, this is a pantry of a kitchen. This is how we make it look. We go from the beginning to purging, finding food that's expired about 3 years ago, and finding that cup that your uncle gave you that you don't know where it was that was in the very back. We find those for you. And I've gone as far as finding a wedding ring that was lost. So we go and purge everything out. We clean. We buy the product. We source it all for you. And then we come and install it for you. We would like you to also know that we offer, which is the topic for this specific speaking event, are relocations and concierge moves. Now, concierge moves, and I mean full concierge moves, is we come and do a consultation, talk about your goals and where you're moving, and we plan out your entire move from here to the next town or from here to across state. And from across state, we've gone as far as having people fly us out to Georgia and help us unload and organize these and set them up and get you home. In the process of all that, if they need the service of light staging, which is the other service, or small design, what we do, and I really encourage you to do this, when you're going to stage your home, whether your conversation with your realtor says you need to get a staging company to do this and come in taking everything out, that's a different conversation. What I do is I use what you have, the decor you have, the furniture you have, and I look at your house and I place them in a certain way that's going to maximize the square footage. When the client comes in and sees the home, they see themselves in the home. And then most people grab all that stuff and depersonalize their home and just throw it in boxes, pack it up, and they put it in the garage. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Because what you're going to do is you're going to grab that box, put it in the truck, transfer it to your new home. You're going to get over there, open it, and say, I don't need all this stuff. Then you're going to go donate it. So you paid all that to transport to donate it at the new house. So we don't want to do that. We want to let go of what's not useful or what worked in that first home and only take what we love and need to the next home. And we help you with that decision-making process because there is such a thing called decision fatigue when you're making so many decisions in your home. And that decision fatigue, we take it away because we work at your pace, and that's what makes us flexible. If you want to work with your pantry on Tuesday, that's fine. Let's meet next Tuesday and do the rest of the kitchen. Or let's meet on Tuesday and do the kids' room. The kids' rooms are tough. Like the artwork, toys, everything. The kids don't want to get rid of anything. And that's totally okay. But we're here to there to guide you and coach you, and then we involve the kiddos. I say, it's now time for me and Munchkin to work together, and we're going to decide what we're going to do. When I come in, I mirror that conversation, and it's a lot easier to let go of things. It's just, they don't listen to parents. I'm a parent. It's still the same, right? So that is what we do with life staging. And now what is it? Now what is our moving process? Our moving process is like what I mentioned. We work together and we declutter. We make a sort. We sort what's keeping, what we're tossing, what we're donating. And then as we're doing that, per room, we pack you up. And then we put that box in the garage or to a storage unit if we want to display your garage. That is how you do it, correct? Without stress, man. After that, once we pack you up, we get the movers, or we can work with your trusted movers, and we load you up and transport you. Our services can stop there. We can stop there, and then you can go into your new home, have another company unload you and set you up however you want. Or like I mentioned before, we travel to your location. We know your story. We know what everything means. So we know where to organize it and put it away for the best efficiency in your new chapter in your life. So that's, now, the last part, which is the fun part, is the unpacking / organizing. Now, do you see that beautiful garage shelf? Do you know what makes it look beautiful? Why is it organized? How so? The bins match. They're uniform, right? You can have clear bins with different lids, and you can have them perfectly organized. But what is the factor there? It's called visual clutter. When things don't match and are effective, but they're effective in functionality, but when you look at them, it's just not right, it's visual clutter. So you want uniformity when you're working, and we're skilled at that. We know what looks good behind a clear acrylic container. We know what doesn't look good. So that is part of our magic and what we do, and honestly, our talent. So I'm pretty proud of our team that we get to do this on a daily basis. Here is a quick rundown, and you have this documentation with you. It's detailed exactly what we do. But I would like you to see at the top that we start with, we manage the logistics of the move, all the way to throwing down the trash at the new location. If this is a lot for you, or you just want to do a certain thing, we're flexible. If you only want to do one service in this, we would talk to you and see which one it is that works best for you, and we accommodate that. If you feel like you just need help with unpacking and organizing, we can do that. So we work with your budget and we see where you need the help the most, and we recommend that. A lot of people say, oh, well, I can do this and this and that, but then as I'm seeing their home, I'm like, I actually think you need this help. And then we can communicate and work together. But please know that full concierge rooms are not just food. We work with different aspects that you need. We're here to meet you where you are. We're not here to sell you a theory on organizing or the new trend. We're here to meet you where you are. And when we walk in your home and doing the consultation, we see your style. It's everywhere. Even though it may not be perfectly, Pinterest worthy, but we know you. We pick it up. And then we build from there, create a mood board of style. We send it to you for your approval, and we go from there. So it's a full-on service. And then the next one is, how do you do it yourself? I mean, it's so simple. When you do it yourself, you want to create a checklist. Now, I have a checklist, like I said, that you can follow. It starts at week 8. If I have that around here, yes, I do. This is the sheet that I printed out for my favorite. This is where I'm starting to learn. Humble beginnings. 8 weeks, you start from here, and then you go down to the other 4 weeks. Okay? So you can follow a step like this. I didn't print one out. I didn't make one because why recreate it? It's right here. And it's a great sheet of helping you what to do. And you'll look at things like, oh, I did not know I had to do that. And it'll keep you in track. The most important things you want to do while preparing your home is start early. So if you're even thinking, you're here because you're thinking of selling. That's why you're here. You're interested in knowing. So the seed is planted. So with that status plan, you start preparing. If you have 8 weeks or 3 months, start one drawer at a time. Start purging. I'm gonna go through the hallway closet this weekend. I'm gonna purge what I need. Commit yourself to that. Next weekend, I'm gonna do the children's closet. And then together as a family on this following weekend, the third weekend of the month, we're gonna do the garage. You can start doing things like that, where you feel like garage is so much, oh my gosh. And by the way, I love garages. But I want to let you know you can do that. You just have to set the pace and commit to that list. Now, most important thing above that, please spend the money on getting your house clean, right? And I mean clean to the point where you haven't cleaned it before. The seals of the window, your base, make sure that all your baseboards are super dust, because people are gonna come and open and see everything. And they want to see how good is this house. So pristine, clean, spotless, they're gonna really see the value through that. Another thing that you want to do is, in addition to keeping it clean and making sure that it's depersonalized. There's no pictures of you. There's no pictures of when you went to Hawaii. It's just like a model home where the more you take out, the people get to see themselves in that home. And that's what they want to see. They want to come in and see, where am I going to put my table? Where am I going to put my children's books? Which room's going to be whose? And if they see that it is completely a blank canvas, it's so much easier for them to envision themselves in there that they're going to go ahead and make an offer a lot quicker than if they feel like there's that type of family going on. Like, when they get distracted with your story, there's like a barrier there. It sounds really rude. I see it, I hear it, but that's the reality, and I'm here to talk to you the truth about it. Now, doing yourself is doable, like I said. Just give yourself time. Start 2 months before, and be patient with yourself. It's like I said, it's a huge transition in life, and you want to be able to do it to where you say thank you that I was in this space. I'm going to close this chapter and open a new one when I go to the next home. And that is me blabbing for my time. I hope that I gave you some good information. If you have any questions, I'll be here at the end. And now I'm going to see, do we have time for Q&A or?
No,
Not today. Okay. So then I'm going to go ahead and introduce Ella. Ella is doing the marketing for the home, so she's going to talk to you all about marketing. Thank you.
Alright. Hi everyone, I'm Ella, and I promise to be very quick and try to pack as much in those few minutes as possible. So you got your home organized, ready to go. By now, we probably hired already listing agent, and now it's time to market your home. So I'm going to talk a little bit about marketing. Every realtor, every real estate company does it differently. So I'm going to talk about marketing and what we do at Kathy Zajac Real Estate, and how we maximize the exposure for your home to guarantee that you get the best outcome and the most money possible for your home. So why we invest in marketing and why we put so much pressure on marketing, it's to generate that exposure, right? To maximize the demand. We all know that the higher demand, the higher the sale price, right? So we want everyone coming through the windows and the doors to be interested in your home, because the more people are exposed to your home, the better for you and the better for your bottom line. So, and of course for the first impression, because the buyers actually take only 8 minutes to form their first impression of your home. And guess where they get that first impression of your home? It happens online, because 97% of buyers these days, they start their search online. So, and the better your home shows online, the higher the perceived value of your home. So the less likely they are to negotiate, the more likely they are to pay the higher price. So at Kathy Zajac Real Estate, we really invest in high quality visuals to market your home. and that's non-negotiable. It doesn't matter what's the price range of the home or where it's located. We make sure that. Are you okay? I'm sorry. Oh. So we really invest in those high quality visuals. And as Kathy already mentioned, having professional photos, that's not even a question, because there are still some agents that we still see listings on MLS with the front photo taken with their phone. Sometimes they even go as far as taking a screenshot from Google Maps. So you really need to make sure to do your due diligence and see what realtors do for their clients. And yeah, so professional photography. Here are some statistics, and I'm gonna send that slideshow to Kathy so she can email it to all of you. I apologize if you guys don't see it. But professional photography guarantee 61% more views online for your home. They, more inquiries, faster sale of your home, even higher asking price per square footage. So professional photography is